Major salute, what's happening? Good evening. It's the boy Blackbeard, Mirage the Assassin. You tuned in for another Mirage Classic. Hope that all the ladies and gentlemen are doing pretty good today. Hopefully you're feeling pretty peaceful. Me personally, just been doing a lot of, introspective spiritual work today. A lot of conscious and subconscious reflection, and a lot of just soul searching and soul discovery and soul revelation. That's kind of what I've been doing a lot today. Just personally, just went out today, did a little walking and stuff like that. We're just kind of laid back, but nevertheless, it has been a day of basically some spiritual work. That's what I've been doing, just some spiritual work today. So what I want to do in this tape and also the next tape is shine some light on, some things that may help some of you all out there. Because we all tend to wonder about some of the same things in our personal lives. We all are going to the same destination, which may be happiness, joy, bliss. Some people may be seeking success or whatever it may be, but we all going to get there in a different path. We all going to get there in a different path. Let's take, for example, downtown Atlanta. You can meet somebody downtown Atlanta, but there's so many different ways you can get there, So just think about all these different streets and different ways you can get there as different souls. Okay, so everybody's soul is designed in a particular individual way, in a specific way, that has a relationship with the spirit that is attached or dwelling within that soul, So no two people are the same. And sometimes when we look in other people's lives and we may compare and contrast, this can lead to confusion because of this soul principle that I'm talking about. So you have some people that may be wondering, why is my life this way? Why was I born into this type of situation? Why is this my particular circumstance? Why did this happen to me? Why did that happen to me? We have these questions, which is very, very fair that people would create these questions and ponder on these things. Me, myself, I've done this. You kind of wonder why certain things have happened in your life the way they did. You wonder on a more higher spiritual level, did I set myself up for something like this because there's some type of revelation behind it? Is this a random type of event? Because, when people may think about the kind of family they were born into, some people are born with wealth. Some people are born, in poverty. And of course, if everybody could choose the type of situation they would be born into, everybody would choose wealth. Who wouldn't? But you see that there are people born in poverty. So, on some levels, especially people who are adept in certain spiritual understandings that understand, certain levels of consciousness, know that, hey, well, I may have incarnated, on this planet to do some particular work, but did I make myself be born in poverty? Some people may wonder that. Or even somebody that may be born in wealth, they may ask themselves, well, did I, do something to get myself born into this family? So in other words, we have a lot of questions about the unknown. And some of them are relevant questions. Some of them may be irrelevant. Some of them are, serious questions. And some of them may be just things we want to know, But either way it goes, we have them. Okay, we have them. So what I'm going to do on this tape, and probably the next one too, the next tape I'm going to probably get a little personal, because I think that it will help somebody. And because I'm spiritually going through something in my own life at this time, in this spring equinox right now, maybe if I could shine some light and reveal something that's personal about myself, it will help someone else. So you all stay tuned for that in the next tape. Blackbeard revealing something about himself that probably will help the people out there through the occult symbol of the child. Okay. So look out for that in the next tape. All right. So what I'm going to do in this one is read out of a book called Legends of the Jews. Okay. The Legends of the Jews. And what this book does is it goes into, a lot of the different occurrences of the Old Testament, and it gives you more of the in-depth story behind what was really happening. And, we all know about the creation of Adam, but we didn't really get the backdrop to the dialogue between the Most High and the various Elohim forces, that participated in this creative act as well. So we're going to look a little bit into that. And we also will look into the construction of the soul. Okay. The construction of the soul. We're going to look a little bit into that. And we also will look into what happens when the mother and father engage in the sexual act, and upon the sperm, fertilizing the egg of the woman, excuse me, we will even look at what is going on spiritually behind that event. Because a lot of us know that the physical sexual act, for lack of a better word, may summon some type of spiritual being to incarnate through the sperm. But when we read into this, ancient Hebrew understanding, we will get, a very, very good picture of more on an esoteric level what may be going on, and you'll understand that as I go into the reading. So that's what we're going to do on this tape, man. This tape and the next one is basically just about evaluating our own soul, just realizing that this life journey is very, very individual, and realizing that our soul is a receptor. That's what the Kabbalah is. It's a receptor. It's one that receives, or it means to receive something. And what we are receiving ultimately is the wisdom, the knowledge, the understanding, the experiences, and everything that the physical has to offer, and everything that our higher self has to offer. So that is ultimately what we are receiving through our souls and our physical bodies. So when you think of a soul, just think of something like a cup, something that is receiving something. So a lot of the times also in esoteric literature, you will hear the soul referred to as a woman or as a female, because think about how the female represents the negative or the magnetic polarity and how it receives. Okay, it receives. All right. So that's what the physical human body does. It absorbs and receives water. It absorbs and receives sunlight. It absorbs and receives psychic energy. Okay. And really some of the only things that the human body most of the things that the human body projects off physically are actually waste. When you think about the skin that we shed, we project that off of our flesh. When we think about our urine, when we think about people doing number 2 in the bathroom, when we spit, when we cough things up, when we sweat, so most of the things that actually, come off of the human body or project off the human body, they're not pure. They're actually impure. Okay. So that's what it is. The human body usually is projecting off impure things, but it can receive pure things. Okay. And these pure things that it receives are usually spiritual in nature. So let's get into this reading real quick. So we're going to go into the soul of man. And of course, I'll analyze some of this stuff as we read. The care which God exercised in fashioning every detail of the body of man is as naught in comparison with his solicitude for the human soul. The soul of man was created on the first day, for it is the Spirit of God moving upon the face of the waters. Thus, instead of being the last, man is really the first work of creation. So the first thing we have here is that the soul of man is actually holding the Spirit of God that moves upon the face of the waters, which was created in the first day. Because if we are familiar with Genesis in the Old Testament, we read in the early introduction, we will see that within the darkness there was a spirit hovering above the waters. Okay. Now, when we break down the Hebrew, the spirit hovering above the waters is known as the Ruach. Ruach is known as the Ruach, the spirit hovering above the waters. Okay. And those waters are the creative waters. All right. The creative waters of the cosmos, or even we could say the creative etheric waters of the akasha. All right. Now, this akasha ultimately is this, we could say, subtle cosmic substance that spirit infuses. All right. It is a subtle cosmic etheric substance that spirit infuses. So when we talk about the spirit hovering above the waters, or the Ruach hovering above the waters, that's what we are talking about. And this same phenomenon goes on within the human body as well. So you have human, waters within your human body. Think about how they talk about in the Old Testament about the firmament and how the waters above were separated from the waters below. Well, in the human body, the waters above represent the different cerebral fluids and the different brain fluids. Okay, the different fluids that are in the human brain. So those are the waters above. And the waters below, of course, are the sexual fluids that reside in the sexual organs. So these are the creative forces within the human body, the cerebral fluids and the sexual fluids. And this is the microcosm of the macrocosm, all right? So that is the first thing you need to remember, that the spirit of man, or the spirit that we actually have within, was created on the first day. So although our fleshly bodies may have been created on the sixth day, our spirit was created on the first. This spirit, or to call it by its usual name, the soul of man, possesses 5 different powers. By means of one of them, she escapes from the body every night, rises up to heaven, and fetches new life thence for man. So what this is saying is that every night when we go to sleep, that our soul, or the woman within, rises up to the heavens and fetches new life thence for man. So what is this talking about? Some of us, when we sleep, we tend to have what's known as lucid dreams, or we may even have regular dreams, or some of us can have even certain advanced dreams. But nevertheless, we start to experience things in the realm of what we call sleep. Okay. So what's going on is that your soul or your spirit is still active while you are asleep, and you are consciously experiencing whatever your soul is getting itself involved in as it goes to these other dimensions and these other planes of existence that exist beyond the physical. So every time at night when we sleep, this is what's happening. Okay. And usually when we waking up in the morning, this is usually when the soul has already returned within the human body. So, you got to remember that there are 2 aspects of yourself. There is a physical aspect of yourself, and there is an ego aspect of yourself. Because some of you all may be wondering, well, if my soul is going off to these other astral planes and these other dimensions, why am I not experiencing it in first time like I am right now? And that is because you are in the primary position of your physical ego. Okay. But it's almost like in the movie The Lord of the Rings, if some of you all have seen it. But there's a scene on The Lord of the Rings where one of the characters, one of those little children, he gets into a situation and he gets knocked out and he thinks he's dead. But really, he just wakes up in another dimension in all white in a bed. And he was just in there asleep. And then it was all these other angelic beings around him. And he's waking up like, what in the world going on? And everybody's just laughing at him because they realize that his soul has returned from those lower dimensions that he had went on his journeys to. So this is an example of what I'm talking about. It says, with the soul of Adam, the souls of all generations of men were created. So that means that all souls were created off of the primary soul of Adam. Now, I'll kind of go a little more into who Adam really is, or what Adam really is. They are stored up in promptuary in the 7th of the heavens, whence they are drawn as they are needed for human body after human body. So these souls of Adam are being stored in the 7th heavens right now. And every time the sperm calls for one, this is where they incarnate. So as it says, drawn as they are needed for human body after human body. So you got to remember that the master mason is woman. Okay. She's the one who builds the temple of Solomon. Okay. And Solomon actually is the soul. So the woman builds the physical body, and then the soul comes and enters that physical body. So that's why we say in masonry that the woman is the master mason. All right. Because she's the one who actually creates the womb. Creates the physical body in 9 months. Okay. Once again, using the science of the number 9 and the number 12. All right. So listen up. The soul and body of man are united in this way. So I'm about to go into how the soul and the body of man are united. When a woman has conceived, the angel of the night, Layla, carries the sperm before God, and God decrees what manner of human being shall become of it, whether it shall be ugly or beautiful, male or female, strong or weak, rich or poor, long or fat or thin, and what all its other qualities shall be. Let me repeat this, because like I said, some of us wonder the state of our physicality, or the condition of our physicality. Where did this come from? Who designed this? Let's read this one more time. When a woman has conceived, the angel of the night carries the sperm before God, and God decrees what manner of human being shall become of it, whether it shall be male or female, strong or weak, rich or poor, beautiful or ugly, long or short, fat or thin, and what all its other qualities shall be. So, as it says right here, that when woman conceives, that the angel of the night carries the sperm before God or the Most High. So when we talk about the Most God right here, we're talking about the Most High, the big spirit, okay? The big spirit, you know. And what happens is that the angel of the night carries the sperm before God, and God that makes these decisions. So now I'm going into more of the esoteric occult activities behind the sexual act, okay? What's going on in the quantum spiritual universes, all right? Pity and weakness alone are left to the determination of man himself. Then God makes a sign to the angel appointed over the soul, saying, "Bring me the soul so-and-so, which is hidden in paradise, whose name is so-and-so, and whose form is so-and-so." The angel brings the designated soul, and she bows down when she enters in the presence of God and prostrates herself before him. At that moment, God issues the command, "Enter this sperm." So let me pause real quick. So first it's saying that after the sexual act, that the angel of the night carries the sperm in front of the Most High. The Most High then goes to the realm of paradise, where all these other angelic souls exist in bliss. And then the Most High will ask for a particular soul to come. So the Most High will say, "Bring me the soul so-and-so." So then this soul will come before the Most High. Then the Most High will issue the command to enter into this sperm. So what we're saying right here is that there is a bosom of souls that exists within bliss in the cosmos. Okay, so that is where we really are before we incarnate into these physical bodies. All right, and it's known as paradise. Some of you all may know of it as Eden. Okay. Let's keep going. So it says that the angel brings the designated soul, and that the soul bows down before the Most High. Then the Most High issues the command to enter this sperm. The soul opens her mouth and pleads, "O Lord of the world, I am well pleased with the world in which I have been living since the day on which thou did call me into being. Why dost thou now desire me to enter this impure semen? I who am holy and pure and part of thy glory." So here you have, when the Most High asks the soul to enter into this sperm, the soul is saying, "Look, Most High, what's going on, big dog? You already, called me into existence, quite a while ago, and placed me into the worlds and the realms of paradise, total bliss. And I'm over here partying, I'm chilling. Everything is happy. There is no sorrows or nothing. And now you asking me to enter into this impure sperm. So why would you do that?" So this is what the soul is asking the Most High. Okay. This is what the Most High says in return. God consoles her, or God consoles that soul. It says, "The world which I shall cause thee to enter is better than the world in which thou hast lived hereto. And when I created thee, it was only for this purpose." So the Most High in return says that the world that you are living in now is not better than the world which, let me read exactly what it says. It says, "The world which I caused thee to enter is better than the world in which thou hast lived hitherto." So it's saying that, the world that I'm going to have you enter in after all this is over is much better than what you think you're in right now. So this is the response of the Most High as to why the soul or our higher self would ask, "Well, what do you want me to go down here and incarnate for?" And Most High is basically saying, "Look, you think you're chilling now, but there's something even better than this." So then it goes on to say, "The soul is then forced to enter the sperm against her will, and the angel carries her back to the womb of the mother. 2 angels are detailed to watch that she shall not leave it, nor drop out of it, and a light is set above her, whereby the soul can see it from one end of the world to the other." So what this says right here is that the soul is basically, kind of forced to go into the sperm against her will, because the soul is chilling in the bosom of paradise. And the soul like, yeah, you saying it is a better world than this, but this shit right here is popping. So, I'm not really trying to do that. But, a lot of us spiritually were made to do things against our will, and that's ultimately what this is saying. So then it goes on to even say that once the soul enters into the sperm, that two angels are actually, commanded to watch over the sperm to make sure that the soul don't leave it, because the soul don't really want to be there. Okay. So then it goes on to say, in the morning, an angel carries her to paradise and shows her the righteous who sit there in glory with crowns upon their head. The angel then says to the soul, dost thou know who these are? The soul replies in the negative, and the angel goes on, these whom thou beholdest here were formed like unto thee in the womb of their mother. When they came into the world, they observed the Most High's Torah and his commandments. Therefore they became the partakers of this bliss, which thou see them enjoy. Know also thou wilt one day depart from the world below, and if thou wilt observe the Most High's Torah, then wilt thou be found worthy of sitting with these pious ones. So what this says right here is that the angel then took the soul to this higher paradise. And it were these angelic beings in there just super chilling. So then this soul says, well, who are these beings? And then the angel tells them, well, these are beings who basically went to earth and were born through their mother's womb. And they followed the commandments of the Torah, which are the laws of the Most High. And because they followed them, when they left the lower world, they were allowed to enter into the higher heaven. Or in other words, the new world that, this one soul has been told about, but hasn't experienced it yet. So that means that maybe some of us that are here in these physical bodies, maybe we haven't experienced what's known as the New Jerusalem, because the New Jerusalem could be, let's say, this higher aspect of the Garden of Eden, or this New Age version of the Garden of Eden. So we may have been around in the old version, the old Jerusalem, or the old Garden of Eden. So that may be the eternal bliss that we're used to, but we weren't meant to stay in that eternal bliss. So that's why it says that, yes, you were in perfection at first, but you got to remember that Adam and Eve were kicked out, or the soul was kicked out of perfection, because there was a higher heaven or a greater heaven that soul was supposed to end up going into. But the only way that soul can do that is by basically going through incarnation through the sperm of the woman and going through the test of the Torah, which can only be done on Malkuth, which is the physical earth. All right. So all of us are here, including myself, to go through these commandments, or go through the Most High's Torah, or go through, let's say, the spiritual Torah, in order to basically test our own soul. All right. Then it says, but if thou wilt be doomed to other places, if they don't, in the evening the angel takes the soul to hell, and there points out the sinners whom the angels of destruction are smiting with fiery scourges. The sinners all the while crying out, woe, woe, but no mercy is shown unto them. The angel then questions the soul as before, dost thou know who these are? And as before, the reply is negative. The angel continues. Hold on, I lost my page. And it says, the angel continues, these who are consumed with fire were created like unto thee. When they were put into the world, they did not observe the Most High's Torah and his commandments. Therefore, they have come to this disgrace which thou seest them suffer. Know thy destiny is also depart from the world. Be just therefore and not wicked, that thou mightest gain the future world. So what this spiritual guide is telling this soul is like, look, you got two choices. You either gonna go into the New Jerusalem, or you are gonna go into the infernal hells of the Qlipoth. Now, the infernal hells of the Qlipoth, long story short, that just represents basically an uncomfortable spiritual process to cleanse all the negative karma and the negative energy off of your soul that it has gained from this physical lifetime. So in other words, when people talk about burning in hell and all that different stuff, what they really are talking about is that your soul has to go through a cleansing process or a detox process from all the negative goo and gunk that it has consumed and accumulated from this physical life. So that means that all the bad deeds and negative deeds that you've done, all the wicked things that you may have been thinking and feeling, and more so how you were interacting with other people, and more in particular how you were interacting with your own spirit and soul. But nevertheless, when our ego does these things, it causes karma on the soul, because you got to remember that soul is eternal, but this ego or this personality is not. So basically, this personality can get the soul in trouble by all the fuck shit it can get itself involved in. So now the soul has to basically, work through all this, and then by the end of the lifetime, if everything doesn't line up, then the soul has to go through a detox or a cleansing process to basically clean off and scrape off all those negative karmic experiences. And that's what we call the Qlipoth, or what we know of as so-called hell. It's just an inverted universe. It's nothing, it's just look at it like you got a bad wound and you got to put some iodine on it. And I've used that example of iodine before. When young Blackbeard used to go outside and get cuts on his hands and arms and legs. And then, Mother Mirage would come in with that iodine. Okay. And this shit hurt like hell. But nevertheless, it was used to clean and to detox wounds and to clean out bacteria in wounds. So your soul has to do that, So that's why it's good to not, put as much karma on yourself. And when we say karma, we just mean cause and effect. We don't mean no foolish, spooky shit. We just mean that by doing wild, crazy ass evil deeds, then you're going to just have them done back to you. That's all we really are saying. And just because you physically die doesn't mean that the energy of those deeds goes away. It still is there. So this is what we mean by not observing the Most High's Torah. Because if you are collecting a lot of negative karma and a lot of, just bad energy, then more than likely you're not following some type of spiritual laws within yourself. That's just how that goes, So let's go on. It says, between morning and evening, the angel carries the soul around and shows her where she will live and where she will die, and the place where she will be buried. And he takes her through the whole world, points out the just and the sinners of the all. In the evening, he replaces her in the womb of her mother, and there she remains for 9 months. So what happens is between the morning and the evening, the angel, the spiritual guide, is going to carry the soul and show her exactly where she's going to live, who the parents are going to be, where she's going to die, the kind of life she's going to live, where she's going to be buried at, shows her the whole world, shows the soul who is just, shows the soul who are going to be sinners or who are going to betray that soul, and shows the soul basically every event of actually what's going on in the physical. So what I'm saying right here is that our soul was shown everything that was going to happen to it basically before it came here. Do we consciously remember that? Of course not. And that talks about that is here as well. And then it says that in the evening, that the spirit replaces the soul in the womb of the mother, where she remains for 9 months. So after the soul is shown all these things, it then incubates into the womb of the mother for 9 months. All right. Then it says, when the time arrives for the soul to emerge from the womb into the open world, the same angel addresses the soul. The time has come for thee to go abroad into the open world. The soul demurs. Why dost thou want to make me go forth into the open world? The angel replies, know that as thou were formed against thy will, so now thou wilt be born against thy will. And against thy will thou shalt die, and against thy will thou shalt give account unto thyself before the King of Kings, the Holy One, blessed be he. But the soul is reluctant to leave her place. So now what happens is that when it's time for us to be born, because we've been into our mother's womb and just used to being in the realm of the spiritual, we ain't really trying to come to this shit. So it has to be the spiritual guide that comes and has to make us once again be born. A lot of this may sound funny, but peep game. So it says that know that how you were formed against your will, it's going to be the same way that you're going to be born against your will. And that'll be the same way that you'll die against your will. But ultimately, it will be the same way as you should have to give account of yourself before the King of Kings. And that also will be against your will. So the same way that we were born against our will, the same way that we're going to die, not knowing anything about when we die and any of that, is the same way that we're going to just have to be, on the throne, I guess, in front of the Most High and give account of all this stuff that's been going on. So then it goes on to say that, of course, that the soul is born into the world and that the soul is born. Then listen to this, y'all. It says, immediately the child forgets all his soul has seen and learned, and he becomes into the world crying, for he loses a place of shelter and security and rest. So, I'm going to read this one more time. It says, immediately the soul or the child forgets all his soul, and it says, immediately the soul forgets all. God damn it, my bad, y'all. It says, immediately the child forgets all his soul has seen and heard, and he comes into the world crying, for he loses a place of shelter and security and rest. So once again, we're not really born conscious and aware of what we know. You know what I'm saying? And we have to go through this process of what people call getting conscious or awake. You're not really getting awake or learning that. You just really relearn what you already know. And then it goes on to say, when the time arrives for man to quit this world, the same angel appears and asks him, dost thou recognize me? And man replies, yes, but why dost thou come to me today? And thou did not come no other day. The angel says, to take thee away from the world, for the time of thy departure has arrived. Then man falls weeping, and his voice penetrates to all ends of the earth. So the same way that we didn't want to leave the first Eden, in the same way we were crying about that, is the same way that we were crying and didn't really want to be born, which is the same way that we're going to be crying and not really even want to leave the physical. So in other words, when you get used to something, no matter really what the condition is, whether it be good or bad, you really tend to not want to really leave it because you become familiar with it. So ultimately, man remonstrates with the angel, from two worlds thou did take me, and into this world thou did bring me. But the angel reminds him, did I not tell you that thou wert formed against thy will, and that thou wilt be born against thy will, and that thou wilt die against thy will, and against thy will thou wilt have to give account and reckoning of thyself before the Holy One, blessed be he. So according to, Aboriginal-Hebrew scripture and text and science, that, on a spiritual level, we were already somewhat informed on, I guess, what was going to go down here. Is there any way you're going to be able to remember that now? Of course not. You think if I knew that shit, I'd be sitting here talking to y'all right now? No. I'd be going to do whatever it is that I see my future as, but I don't know that. You know what I'm saying? Some of you all, if y'all knew y'all future, y'all wouldn't be sitting right here listening to this tape for what? Like, what would be the point? It wouldn't be no point. So, I don't know, maybe we're supposed to just live it out and see what happens, or at least that's how I live. Like, I don't, I just live one day at a time, man. Like, I don't put too much expectations on stuff. I work on what I can work on, and I just kind of move on to the next day. Because the way life is you kind of just got to see what happens, after a while. You just kind of see where it leads you, But yeah, y'all do a little soul homework with this one. Just kind of evaluate yourself, man, and look at your own life, Look at your own life. But it's the boy Blackbeard. Stay tuned. I'm out.